Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? So today's project is we're going to be doing the 25-hour break-in maintenance service on the Ranger. So we finally got 25 hours on it. I've been having a good time with it, plowing snow in the winter, been playing in the woods with it, doing some trail riding, and been using it around the house for the garden and pulling logs, different things. So it's been really great so far, no issues. So we're going to go ahead and change out the fluids today, and I'll show you the kit that I got and show you how we're going to get this done. Okay? Alright, so this is the kit I got from the dealership, and it comes in a box like this here. Okay, and I'll tell you what it comes with. Alright, so the first thing they give you is a tube of grease. So if you have a small grease gun, you can just use this for any grease fittings on the vehicle. We have the angle dry fluid. Okay. We have a quart and a half of the gear case lubricant, the AGL. We have 16 ounces of the demand dry fluid. And we have 3 quarts of the engine oil. This is 10W50 full synthetic 4-cycle oil. It takes 2.5 quarts, they give you 3. We have an oil filter here. It's a Polaris filter, 2540086. It's part number 5812232. And then I think the only thing we're going to need is a 6mm and an 8mm Allen wrench. And I think that should do it. We've got a drain pan in the back there, catch all the oil. So let's get started. Alright, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull the drain plug out of the front differential. So that's going to be your 8mm. Stick that on there. Okay, now this does have a magnet on it, and you can see there is some fine shavings there, which is fine because that's just part of the break-in period. As long as there's no big chunks of anything stuck on there, we're good. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean that off while that's draining. Okay, magnet's nice and clean. We got an O-ring still on there, which is good. Fluid coming out, it's looking nice and clean still, that's good. Okay, I'm going to put this plug back in here. Okay, now the spec is you want to torque this back down to 12 foot-pounds. So I'll grab a torque wrench, get that all set. Okay, that's 12 pounds, we're good there. Make sure it's all clean. Okay, so the filler hole is right here. Alright, and I just took out the plug. Okay, so we're going to grab a funnel and we'll put in the correct fluid. Okay, so this front diff calls for 8.5 ounces. So I've put that in this container here, and we're going to, because it's It's actually 16 ounces in the jug, so you're not going to dump the whole thing in there. So make sure we measured out the correct amount. All right, and then we're going to just drop a funnel in there and get that filled up. Okay, I'm just going to keep a little pressure and make sure that stays in there. A little tricky. It'd be a little easier if I had a longer hose, but this is all I got right now. Okay, so get that fluid in there. Alright, we're going to take the plug, we're going to stick that back in there. Okay, just going to snug that up a little bit. And that's all set. Wipe any excess off of here. Okay, I don't think we dripped any in there, so we should be good. Okay, on to the next one. Alright, next we're going to drain the rear differential. There is a plug right up in here. Again, it's an 8mm Allen. So let's get that in there. Get that loosened up. Okay, so this is actually the transfer case. You can see it's a different color, it's a purplish color. Again, we have the magnet on here, with some fine particulate on here. That's okay, again, no chunks. Let that drain out for a minute. Okay, magnet's clean. Got the O-ring on there still, so we're good there. Let that drain for a second. And you can see it does have a magnet. That's what catches any debris that comes loose. I mean, you will have some shavings just as part of the normal break-in period, which is fine, as long as you don't have any big chunks, like I said. So let's get this back in there. Okay, and once again, we'll torque this to 12 foot-pounds, just like we did the other one. Okay, that's all set. And we'll just clean up any residual that came down. Alright, so the fill plug is right here in the back. Right there. Again, 8mm, so we're going to go ahead and take that out. We'll fill her up. Okay, we get that plug out, and again, there's no magnet on this one. We don't need it. It's not a drain plug. There is an O-ring on there though. You want to make sure that's still on there. Okay, so one of these is 32 ounces. We want you to put 44 in there. So we're going to dump this whole one in here. Okay, and then we're going to need 12 ounces from the other jug. So we'll get that measured out. Okay, so 32 and 12 makes 44. Put that in there. Out, stick the plug back in there. Again, just give it a snug. Okay, so the transmission and the front diff are done, and now we'll do the oil change. Okay, so the oil drain plug is over here. So looking back, this is where the muffler is in the back here, so down underneath. It's towards the front of that shield. Okay, that's where that plug is. Alright, so looking at the top of the engine, it's down on the back side here. It's actually right here. This is the filter housing. Somebody from the factory decided they wanted to put it on a little bit tighter than they probably should have, so I had to use this strap wrench to get it loose. But no big deal. So I put a rag underneath where it is, just so that any oil that drains out will get caught by the rag and doesn't get all over the place. So we'll just go ahead and spin this off. Okay, I'll take that out of there. Alright, so we have the new oil filter, and we're going to prime it before we put it on there. So we're going to take some oil, we're going to fill it up, let it soak into the filter. Alright. Then what we want to do is just put a little bit of oil on this gasket here. That way when I go to take it off next time, it's not going to be really tight like it was this time, and it's going to allow the gasket to go on without pinching or anything like that. Okay, so let's get that put on there. Okay, so when we put the new filter on, you want to just spin it on there until it makes contact. Okay, now that it made contact, so you just want to hand tighten this. You want to just give it a couple of turns until it starts feeling snug, and then just one little final snug, and that's it. You don't want to put a wrench on there, you don't want to over crank it. That should be just perfectly fine. Okay, next thing is we got to take the oil cap off, and then we'll add in the 2.5 quarts of oil. Okay, Okay, let's get this filled up. Okay, so when you drain the engine oil, you want to make sure you change that crush washer. And when you plug it back in, again, 12 foot-pounds. Top off the oil, and we'll let it run for a second, and then I'll show you how to check the oil. Okay, so this is your oil dipstick right here. It's on the passenger side of the engine. You're just going to pull this out, wipe it clean. This is after we started the engine to let the oil circulate through the oil filter. Okay, seat it all the way to the bottom. Pull it out again. Okay, so when you look at this, you have a low level and a full level. And it's right on the full. It's very hard to see because the oil's so clean now, but if you just touch it on the back side, you'll see it's wet, so we're good there. Alright, so put that back in. Now this has a little flip over latch too, so when you put it on, you do that, and it just squeezes it so it stays in there better. Okay, push that down, and then you just flip that over, and now the oil's all set. Okay, so there's a couple other things we can check on it while we're in here. Okay, one other thing, the kit that I got came with this angle drive fluid, and I was wondering where that went. And I did some research, and it's actually for an older machine that had a separate differential in the rear. Mine doesn't have that, so I don't need it. So when you're buying the kit, you may want to tell the guys, you know, I may not need that angle drive fluid depending on your year. I did pay $92.68 for the kit. I don't know if it would have been cheaper without the angle fluid or not. So, you know, I would check into that when you go to purchase your kit. Alright, so we'll just give it a good look over. Valve cover gasket's nice and dry, it's not leaking. And we'll just kind of look around, make sure everything looks good. No signs of any mice or anything chewing on anything, so that's good. Okay, everything under here looks clean and dry. The axles look good. I don't see any coolant leaking or anything like that. That's good. We'll look underneath. Make sure everything's nice and dry under there. Okay, I think we're... Alright, so the next thing we can check is make sure the coolant's full. So on the tank you have a low line and a high line. You want to make sure you're in between here, and we're about 3/4 of the way up, so we're good there. This is a washer fluid tank that I added in. It doesn't come with this because I did put washer nozzle and a wiper on here. You can see that in one of my previous videos. So that's good. And then we can check the battery also, just make sure that looks okay. Alright, so when you flip the seat up, you do have a storage tray in there. You pull that out, and then you can see the battery. And we just want to make sure these terminals are tight. We want to make sure there's no corrosion on them. They are tight. They are corrosion free. That's good. Any kind of debris down in the bottom here from four-wheeling or anything you can clean out at this point. You do have your fuses here if you should run into any problems. It is labeled under the cover here what's what. Okay, so put that back. Alright, and I think that's about it. I mean, you can check your tire pressures, make sure those are good. You know, check your suspension, make sure nothing's bent, make sure the shocks are good, they're not leaking or anything like that. I mean, the machine's still new, so I'm not expecting any problems. I haven't really run into anything that would do any damage, you know, just a little off-roading with some sticks and branches and whatnot. So I think we're in good shape here. I did replace the headlights. I got the, oh, that's the other thing I got to do too is, one of my previous videos you saw that this backup light was giving me an issue. So I have that disconnected, so I'm going to try and rewire that also, so that I can utilize that again. But the back looks good, no leaks, everything looks dry. So I think we're good. We got the service done now. 25 hours is up. I can take it out and blast it now and have some fun with it. I really didn't push it at all during that 25 hours. And it was funny because I'm like, wow, this thing really doesn't have a lot of power, but I wasn't really pushing it, that's why. And then right before I did the service, I took it down the street and gassed it a little bit, and it got up and moved. So it does have the power, and now I can actually use it if I choose to. So I guess that's about it for now. So if you guys liked the video, give a thumbs up, give a like, give a share, leave any comments you may have, and we'll catch you on the next one.